Hello and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Dr. Alison Chiwara. I'm the CEO and founder of Human Focus Limited, a company that is truly dedicated to creating happier and healthier workforces, workplaces, communities, societies, and even nations. Thank you once again for joining me on this podcast. Over the last few weeks, or couple of weeks, we have started an episode, or series rather, on becoming while the world is burning. Across the world, under the same blue skies that we all share, noise is absolutely everywhere. We've got notifications, meetings that never end, news of all sorts of things that are happening around us, sometimes to us, and affecting and impacting our lives. Voices are rising than never before. Even our inner monologues are even refusing to rest. But I want to invite you into a different kind of wealth today, not the currency of money, not influence, and not applause. I want to invite you into the currency of quiet. Because when everything is burning, when things are collapsing or even shifting, quiet is what allows you to hear what truly matters at the best of times. I was speaking about this with my dear friends, Juliet and Helen, the other day, coming from our exercises on a Monday morning. And I was talking about how the currency of quiet has been my most invaluable asset ever. This is not just an episode for leaders in boardrooms or founders trying to build empires like we all feel we are. This is for every soul that is under the heavens canopy, who has forgotten how to listen, not to others, but to themselves, to God, to whoever you believe in, to the wind around you, and most importantly, to one another. You see, in scripture, I want to go a little bit biblical here. Elijah expected God in the earthquake, in the fire, in that storm that he was in. But where did God arrive? In a very tiny whisper. In a very bizarre way, our ancestors have sort of understood this. Our ancient aunties and uncles, they knew that silence wasn't emptiness. It was presence, actually. It was in still nights under African skies where wisdom was handed down around fires. Nothing really happened in the middle of thunderstorms. You see, peace cannot be bought. Runyararo harutengwi. That's Shona. And yet, this inner peace that we so desire is the most expensive thing most of us don't know how to afford. Let me repeat this. The peace is the most expensive thing that most of us don't know how to actually afford. Quiet is divine currency on its own. And it's actually a very bizarre thing because the poor are not those without wealth. They are those that don't have silence. I remember a time when I couldn't bear silence. I filled it with many of these podcasts. I listened to podcasts of other people. I was attending so many networking events. And I needed background noise. I needed to be busy because quiet somehow scared me. I even needed to be busy around my home. It meant, sometimes I felt like it meant me hearing the truth of my own soul if I stood still. And yet, when I finally stopped running, silence actually did not destroy me. At the very best of my life's journey, silence has healed me. It staged the cracks between my thoughts, between my fears, between my confusions, and it taught me that my worth was not in the words that I actually spoke to people or the words that people were saying to me, but in the stillness that I needed to carry, that I carried in that moment, in those moments. Quiet is where you remember who you are without the jumping, the skipping, the shouting, the singing, the fidgeting. Just stillness. So today, like I always like to do, I ask you, when was the last time that you even sat in silence without even touching your phone, reaching out for your phone, trying to figure out what's on your social medias? What part of yourself are you avoiding by drowning in noise? Could it be that maybe the next big thing that you're waiting for is actually there in front of you, waiting to be heard? Could it be that your life is so filled with other things that maybe your partner who's speaking to you, whispering to you, and waiting to be heard, you can't even notice them, you can't even see them because you don't or you haven't had a moment for stillness? Could it be that that person that you pitched to a couple of months ago has been trying to reach out to you, sadly reach out to you, and you have just not read the clues in that messaging because you're so busy and you lack stillness? You see, there's something that is extraordinary about having quiet in leadership. The true leaders know that quiet or being quiet is not weakness. It's actually some form of strategy. The best negotiators let silence work for them. The pauses between the negotiations. The silence in our sentencing, in our delivery. The wisest mentors don't fill every space with advice. They leave room for you to reflect. That's silence. The most trusted leaders are not the loudest in the room either. I look at the likes of the incredible Richard Branson, very quiet spoken. And yet he has a presence that anchors everyone else around him. I once worked with an executive who believed leadership always meant having the answer. You know, they always had the answer for everything. But the moments that they learned, or she learned to embrace a pause, even in meetings, in rushing or making those decisions, and a pause in giving moment to listen, something actually shifted, something magical happened. As a team, we leaned into her. Her authority gradually grew, not because she spoke more, but because she created space for others to be heard. That's powerful. That is currency. Quiet actually multiplies trust in those around you. Silence actually invites truth. I think you all believe this, and we all can agree on this. And the same in leadership. Stillness is a force greater than sound. I have learned this over the years. I have watched amazing people, and I've come to understand that there is something in their quiet, in their silence, that is a force that has to be reckoned with. And it's this sort of type of leadership that has stillness. But when it speaks, just that one moment, there's such a thunder of trust, authority, truth that resides in their spoken words. I want us to talk a little bit about business for a moment. Of course, I wasn't going to be too personal, but we now live in a world where there's noisy markets. Everyone is shouting for the same attention that we are all seeking. But what I found is that the most powerful brands are the ones that speak less, but speak with weight. Are you with me? I just want you to think about this for a moment. The emails you actually read are the ones written with clarity and not clutter. Do we agree? The voices that you follow are those who don't post daily noise, but perhaps when they speak, it somehow feels like it matters. I remember a voice such as this, and I did a post when he passed away. It was the voice of the legendary Sir Jeff Palmer. He had this incredible quietness, silence that anchored him. He didn't need to create daily noise. But somehow when he spoke, we all wanted to know what it was he had to say. Because it felt like it mattered. Do you see this? You look at the likes of the incredible Mother Teresa. She had this stillness about her. There was a silence in her voice, but yet when she spoke, it carried weight. I know that each and every one of us are different, but I want you to observe this level of quiet that has become today's currency, more powerful than any money or any wealth one could ask for. The businesses that we trust are not those who scream the loudest, I don't feel, but those who have a quiet confidence about them, and they feel steady, they feel stable. They're the ones that we trust, isn't it? So quiet is a market advantage today. It builds credibility. It almost signals, like I say, confidence, and it creates a certain level of focus around us. You see, we're professionals, and true professionals. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be present where it matters the most. And usually it's on life's path that you learn these things. Now, I want us to imagine this somewhere, say in Zimbabwe. There's a grandmother sitting under a very leafy tree in silence, waiting for her grandchildren's laughter to fill her yard, or pachivanze. Imagine this. Maybe someone in Japan, Tokyo. A businessman posing on a train platform is waiting, but what he's noticing is the sound of rain on the roof of the train station before stepping back into the rush and going into his train when it arrives. Let's even take for a moment, it could be someone in New York even, a woman who is wide awake perhaps at 3 a.m. The city around her loud and awake, but inside she's probably aching for silence. But surrounded by such busyness, we are all bound by the same blue sky, like I said earlier. And across the breadth of this whole wide world, silence is the one language every soul absolutely understands. It's almost like love, isn't it? It's the magical language that transcends any barriers. Quiet is a thread that finally, in a very systematic way, gathers humanity and stitches it together for us. It's that stitch that ties us all together. I remember the silence of the pandemic. It did something extraordinary, didn't it? There was quietness around the whole entire world. For once, we could hear what's happening in America. For once, we were still enough to understand climate change. For once, the voice of the voiceless could be heard. For once, we found ourselves in the stillness of the entire world. Out of a tragic and tragedy, something extraordinary was being stitched together. There was a sense of bringing humanity back together that we have seen and continues to evolve, really. And I think that is the power of quiet. So I ask you, and be gentle with yourself, where do you need to buy back silence in your own life? You know, I was having this conversation with my partner, and he said to me only a few weeks ago, he gave up social media. I preach about it through my work, but he gave up social media. He gave up all of the apps that he felt were distracting him from the things that he needed to really focus on himself. And to find silence and the truth is just incredible in that he actually finds he has so much more time for himself. The time that he thought he was busy, he has much more, visibility around many things that he's trying to do. So it's an incredible time. He's brought back time. He can make decisions quicker and faster because he's not distracted. On the other hand, what truths might you finally hear if you stop just being fidgety with your life? Then most importantly, who in your life needs your quiet listening more than your loud advice? We are all perhaps at fault for giving loud advice and not quietly listening. I put my hands up on that. Now, I would like you to take a moment and let those answers rise in stillness. Don't rush them. Where do you need to buy back silence in your own life? Now, just take a pause and unclench every part of your jaws. Let your shoulders drop and exhale. Now, breathing very deeply and hold it and release slowly, letting the noise fall away with your breath. You'll begin to feel your body. And do ask yourself, what message has my body been sending me that have been too noisy to hear? And do sit with it, even if the answer feels uncomfortable, because the body always tells you the truth. See, recently, I spoke about our home, that we discovered a sacred tool, which is the tuning forks. When you struck, when struck, what they do is they vibrate with pure sound. Not the sound that adds noise, but the kind that creates silence inside you. It's incredible. I think I bought them for about 36 pounds or something on Amazon, honestly. And the vibration moves through your body, grounding your nervous system and reminding your spirit that you are safe, that you are here, that you can pose. And it's incredible because even my son, who is not into holistic therapies, really absolutely enjoys it. And after a session, your thoughts slow, your emotions settle. And I find that I return to myself without very much effort, honestly. And sometimes silence is hard to find on your own. I know that. And that's when sound can actually guide you. Because not all silence is the absence of sound, no. So even in this moment, you take away my voice and just let's leave the sound. Sometimes silence is a frequency that realigns you with your inner soul. So that 1 second there, I let it go. I hope that you too could find silence in the rhythmic sound that is on the background of this podcast. So here is something I want to share with you. And this is very profound. The richest people in the world are not those with the most money. They are those who can afford quiet. The leaders we remember are not those who spoke the most, but those whose silence carried real meaning. And the most powerful version of you is not the one who is everywhere, saying everything to everyone, but the one who knows when to be still. And that is profound. So here, you've heard it here. Quiet is currency. Quiet is another form of leadership. Quiet is actually love, just being present when somebody just needs you to be quiet. It's a whole tonload of love. And for me, in quietness, I sometimes find my spirituality, my religion. I find God in my quietness. So, do spend your quiet time wisely, but save it fiercely. Like I always say, the things that matter to you, you must guard them fiercely, just like you would guard your business, your vision, your mission, your marriages, your families, your children. That is what you need to do with your quiet, your silence. And let it enrich every part and corner of you becoming this very amazing version of yourself. So, until next time, please keep breathing nice and slowly. Keep creating room for quiet. And may the currency of quiet enrich your life in ways no noise ever could. And remember, the richest people, the real richest people in the world, are not those with the most money. They are those who cannot or who can afford quiet. So the richest people in the world are not those with the most money, but those who can afford quiet, silence. So I leave you with food for thought. Are you ready to acquire quiet as your new currency in your business, in your personal life, in your marriage, in your family, in your homes, in your organizations, in your nations? So until next time, it's goodbye for now. From me to you, from Human Focused Limited to your organizations, it's bye for now. Until next time.